Should you be spending less time in the parks on your next Disney trip? Let's discuss. Rope drop to fireworks isn't maybe the best approach.
I truly don't know that I agree with you on that.
I can see the benefit of the lightning lanes.
No, thank you.
No?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
Where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we are recapping our most recent trip to Walt Disney World. And in the same respect, kind of talking about how what we did and kind of our experience this time changed how we kind of are going to view, I feel like, planning for future trips.
Yeah.
And I think some recommendations on how maybe like trip planning is kind of changing at Walt Disney World, I feel like.
Yeah, just like a different structure than you would expect.
Yeah. Before we get into that, though, let's cover the Disney news of the week. So this week was Destination D23 down in Orlando. A lot of news coming out of that. The one piece of news I want to mention this week is updates to the Carousel of Progress, one of my favorite attractions at the Magic Kingdom. They announced that we are getting a Walt Disney animatronic. So they are adding a Walt Disney animatronic to Magic Kingdom. It is going to be a part of the intro to the Carousel of Progress. So kind of that beginning scene where it's just the logo. That's going to be Walt there and kind of his workshop. Concept art looks amazing. The other thing they mentioned, like that was kind of the headline. Everybody was talking about the Walt Disney animatronic. But the Carousel of Progress itself is going to be getting an update. It's going to be going down for refurbishment. And in the press release, Disney mentioned there are still plenty of additional details to be revealed, including what John, Sarah, and the rest of the family are up to. So it sounds like this is more than just a new intro, that we are potentially getting new scenes in the Carousel of Progress, maybe a new storyline. Like this is going to be a kind of more complete update around it.
Well, judging by the decades in which they are in existence, John, Sarah, and them are up to something, but it's 6 feet below the ground.
I don't know. They get younger every scene that goes on.
They must have found the fountain of youth. I would like,
that's the real progress.
You know
That's
what
the
I'm
secret.
actually proposing here? We've got a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. We got a Jungle Cruise movie. We got a Haunted Mansion movie. Let's get us a Carousel of Progress
That would be a
movie
great
to
movie.
explain why these people age backward
That
and
would
why
be-
the dog is still alive.
Yeah, that would be a great movie. My guess is that they will change the last scene, because I think that is the scene that has been updated most recently. Like I don't think that was an original scene. I don't believe. I think there's been some updates to that. So that's my guess. I'm hoping that like the majority of the story stays the same, even the early scenes, because again, it's kind of the history of Progress.
I mean, it's
We'll
like
see.
it's like a 1 minute ride. There's
Well-
not a lot for them to
Well,
change.
you bring this up because I looked at the Facebook comments to this post, and a lot of the posts were like, hopefully they fix Walt and make Walt look better on the East Coast than they do the West Coast, which this might be the one time East Coast Disney gets a better
But we've
thing.
also heard that West Coast Walt, that's what WCW, West Coast Walt, looks good in action.
In person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a lot of the comments. But a lot of the other comments are people falling asleep. So much like you who falls asleep during this attraction.
Yeah, it's
so
short ride.
some of the comments in here goes, hopefully it's not closed while I'm down there next. I like my 40-year-long nap. So that was one of them. Another one is maybe I won't sleep through it. But I bet it's still the best place to have a power nap on the hot days in Florida. And then the last comment, because again, this is talking about Walt being the intro, where I instantly fall asleep and feel recharged. Sadly, I will probably never see the upgrade. So the comments were a mix of hopefully they make Walt look better, and then where am I going to get my nap while this is closed? And I'm never actually going to see any of this because I'm asleep the whole time.
It is the best place to get a nap in the Magic Kingdom. Like,
we
Spaceship
ranked them.
Earth is a good one.
We ranked
but
the
that's
best places
over
to
in
take
Epcot.
a nap, and we talked about this because you fall asleep all the time.
I think that one in particular, because I think aren't you just slowly moving the whole time? Or
No.
I can't remember. You stop.
Yeah, you have no idea what the ride is. You stop.
No, you do stop.
and then you
Okay,
move.
yeah, that's right. I'm thinking like Garden Grill. You're slowly moving
Yes.
the whole time.
But we talked about this, and we've seen numerous other people sleeping on this ride. Like it is
Oh.
like the number one place to go to. So,
It's a great ride.
but I'm
for
very
that.
excited to get a Walt Disney animatronic. I think that'll be a great intro. I'm interested to see what they update with the rest of the attraction, I hope they don't change too much of the early scenes, because I like that storyline. I think that is somewhat timeless, but I could see them maybe updating the end of it.
Moving on with more relevant news for most of us, since most of us sleep through that ride. In the grand Walt Disney tradition of putting out a movie for my birthday, they have announced that November 25th, 2026, that they are going to release Hexed, I think that was already known, but they kind of like revealed a little bit about what the movie is. So it's about an awkward teenage boy who has like a very type A mom, and like some of his quirks turn out to be like magical characteristics. So then it opens up
magic.
It opens up a whole new world of magic for them. So it sounds really exciting and interesting. This is definitely something that I know we will definitely go to the theaters to see, because again, like looking kind of ahead at what Walt Disney has slated.
The concept art of this looks amazing. I'm assuming that the piece of concept art that came out is from the magical world, not the real world, because it's very colorful, and just kind of like the geometry of it is very interesting. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna, I think, look great on a big screen, like on a theater.
Again, I always want to go see these movies because this is a new and unique idea, and kind of looking ahead at like Pixar's schedule and everything. Like we've got another Coco movie coming, another Incredibles movie coming, another Toy Story movie coming. So again, these are franchises that are well established. So I'm always like in support of like Elio, like going to see these like new films with new ideas and new IP, because, you know, like it gets you into a new world, and I think that this one's going to be a really interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, Pixar, next 5 movies, 2 originals, 3 sequels. So Hoppers, Toy Story 5, Gato, Incredibles 3, and Coco 2. Which, I mean, who are we kidding? I'm going to see Incredibles 3. I'm going to see Toy Story 5.
I mean, I am
I'm going to see Coco.
I am too,
like, those are 3 of like their mega franchises. The Gato one is interesting because I believe that's just following around a cat. Like that,
yes.
That seems to be.
Well, the cat like works for the mafia or something. I forget. It's like,
I don't know all the details.
I feel like I read about this.
But this is 2027. This has the opportunity to be incredible. This is one of those I feel like where Pixar, they're taking a swing and they're trying something risky again. It's like from the perspective of a cat. Like it just seems different. Kind of the concept art seems like a different animation style. So this could, I think, either be really, really good or really, really bad. I don't want to say bad, but
I don't think it's going to be
not as well received.
Bad.
But I think this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be really bad either. But I think this is going to be one of those ones where it's like they're taking a risk, and so it's, you know, it's high risk, high reward. But sometimes high risk don't turn out well. So I hope it turns out well. I think it's interesting that it's sandwiched between Toy Story 5 and Incredibles 3. Yeah. So if it doesn't do well, the narrative isn't going to be Pixar is kind of sliding, because you're going to immediately have a huge box office hit before and after it.
My only fear is that, okay, all of their mega franchises, kind of like with Toy Story and Incredibles and Coco, it's like there is like this very fantastical element. Like, what if toys were real? Hey, these are like a family of superheroes. And hey, what if you could go to the dead world? I can't remember what it's called right now, but like, what if you can go and like see all of your dead relatives and things? So like there's like this very fantastical element. This one I think is going to be pretty grounded in the real world, but it's also like, what if our main character was an animal? Kind of going back to more like the Lion King tradition, or like with Bolt. I feel like Bolt was probably one of their last movies that starred
But
an
it seems
animal.
like it's more realistic.
Oh yeah,
like
it is. That's what I'm saying.
Cat.
Like it's not really fantastical, but at the same time, cats are huge. People love cats. People love, you know, like Instagram with cats on it. So I mean, I really think that this one does have that potential, but it is different than some of their other big franchises. So we'll see.
Comes out in 2027, but I think Pixar has a great slate of movies coming out where, again, they're going to dominate the box office with some of these. So even if some of these original ones don't hit, the narrative isn't going to be, hey, Pixar's losing. All right, so let's get into our main topic here. So we were at Walt Disney World a few weeks ago. We stayed at the cabins, the new cabins at Fort Wilderness Lodge, which I got to say, just kind of first of all, absolutely love the cabins. I got a new mug, which is good. I got a Fort Wilderness mug here.
Also,
you got a mug too. You're now part of the mug club.
Oh, I should have brought it down.
You're part of the mug club now back at the school?
I did not get a mug. I believe I sort of kind of got 2 mugs. I mean,
you're part of the club now.
Well, okay, so I'm joining the the experiential mug club. So not the ones you buy in park, although I try to encourage you to buy some mugs. Remember that?
You did. I bought this one.
They have new designs, like where they're like very bright colors, like half of them's one color and half's the other, and then there's Mickey on one side and Donald on the other.
I never thought about, though, resort mugs. That every resort, not every resort, but a lot of the resorts
Probably
have their
every resort.
Not every resort, like All Stars. Like I've been to like Pop Century, like they don't have specific stuff, but a lot of the resorts have theme specific logos and mugs. So when I saw this Wilderness Lodge mug, I was like, I have to get this, because I've seen the ones in the parks you kind of see everywhere, but now there's a whole new world of mugs out there for me.
Whole new world. Yeah, we should have looked
But what
at
you got?
Animal Kingdom Lodge. Probably had great mugs, and we didn't really look at that, so we'll have to go back and check it out.
That. But
what I like about your mug, though, let's talk about this, because I brought it down for you today. We film in our basement, and there is a hidden Mickey on the inside of your mug, and also on the bottom. So that's pretty cool.
It's an indentation.
Yeah, it's an indentation.
That's in there, yeah,
it's pretty cool.
But you got a tiki mug, because we went to Trader Sam's.
Yes.
And you got a Lothcat mug from Oga's.
That's right. So, I'm very excited about those mugs. I don't drink out of a mug very often, but I'm going to have to start changing my ways a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that tiki mug from Trader Sam's is pretty cool.
I don't think that the Lothcat one is going to fit very much in it.
No, yeah, that doesn't look like that has much in terms of like.
I feel like it looks more like a plant holder than a tiki mug, which actually would be a really cool application for that. I might have to plant something inside that and just make it a plant holder, because I think it would work really well.
Yeah, I think that would be better than actually like liquid.
I mean, it's more like earthenware. I mean, that's kind of what you use as a plant holder anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so I love the Fort Wilderness mug. Really enjoyed the cabins overall. We actually have a full like room tour up on YouTube if you want to become an Enchanted Ears insider for our members over there, on the little bonus episode up there, with kind of more like detail of a room tour there. But the resort was great. We got a golf cart. Like that was an awesome place to stay.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I think that it's skyrocketed to, like, if we're just talking about a resort at its face value for what it is, that's my favorite one. I still do like the Poly, because the Poly has a lot of like convenience factors to it as well. Like you have 2 bathrooms if you stay in the DVC, and you're on the monorail line. But like, I loved the theming, because I love feeling like I'm a rustic person, but really I'm not that rustic. Like I like to have amenities. So it is the perfect marriage of that, where those cabins look very rustic on the outside, but then once you're inside, they're very modern looking and very like, just like very nice. They do have rustic touches though. So like, it's a really cool design aesthetic that I enjoyed.
What I liked most about the resort is you did not feel like you're in a theme park. I mean, you felt like you were,
it was like a
campgrounds, but like, because all the cabins are there, it's a little community. Most people drive, so there's cars parked. So like you really felt like you were in a neighborhood, in the forest somewhere, and it was so secluded. It was just a nice place to like relax. Having the golf cart driving around everywhere was like a bonus and everything.
Like,
so
I mean, I was enjoying it too.
Yeah, you drove the golf cart around. So
so
it was a lot of fun, and I think, you know, this is where and then our last trip when we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge at the Savannah Room, I think when we stayed there, like this idea kind of started in my mind, and I think staying at Fort Wilderness just kind of cemented it, and all the stuff we did, which we'll get into, is the fact that like I feel like kind of like planning and recommendations I would have given to people for planning a Disney trip a year ago, 2 years ago, have changed. Because I feel like often we would say the hotel doesn't matter. Like just stay wherever.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see where it does matter, and how every hotel kind of has its own individual like vibe
its
and
own
personality.
Aesthetic.
Yeah. And it can really change and impact your trip. Like if you are somebody that kind of likes the outdoors, I feel like Fort Wilderness is so great, because you're going to have the chaos of the parks. And if you need like, hey, I can't
like decompress,
to come back there, and it's just, you're in a completely other world out there.
Yeah.
If you really like animals, the Savannah Room.
And yeah, the thing I did really appreciate about the cabins too is just that you are, for transportation for the most part, you are more, I don't want to say on your own, but like you have to kind of sometimes wait around, or like when we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, for example, we had a 10-15 minute walk, which after time in the parks just felt like
to
a
the
long
room.
time.
To
Yeah,
the room.
yeah.
Because the way the
Just to
hotel
get,
is made, it's like a big circle
right.
around the savannah.
But
So, yeah.
where like, but it was cool because we would step right off of the bus over at Fort Wilderness. We'd go right to the golf cart, and then even though it was probably like a 5-10 minute drive, like that was enjoyable. Like it was just, it was cool to be driving in a golf cart or riding in a golf cart and seeing the sights. There were turkeys. We saw a lot of turkeys.
Yeah, a lot of wildlife and everything.
We saw, I think, turkeys. We also had deer outside of our room one time. So we saw like a decent amount. Oh, and also like lizards. Like we saw like the typical like anoles that live there, but also there's like an invasive species. I think they were called a curl-tail lizard.
I think that's what it was.
And so like we saw multiple like really like wildlife that you don't really see in parks, and then I've never seen at any of the other hotels.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the kind of the changes is I'm starting to see the value of like find a hotel that kind of fits your aesthetic and theme, because I think the other piece of this is where I'm starting to change. And I don't know if you agree with this piece or not, but like the summer springtime is so much more lively, and I feel like such a better time to go. Like the past few years we've gone, it has been around Run Disney events. So It's been in January for Marathon Weekend. It's been April for
Springtime Surprise.
And you're basically there for Run Disney. Like the, international cast members don't come out. Like all the extra, like at Epcot, the international cast members at Epcot typically aren't there until like the spring or summertime. I feel like just like the live extra entertainment in the parks, like there's a different kind of like liveliness and tone to being in the parks, I feel like, in the spring and summertime when you're there like May, June, July, that you don't have in January. Like there's more going on. I don't know, did you feel that too? Like there's just more entertainment happening. Like we didn't go see this time at Epcot, but like there were like the soccer show, the balancing act in France is back. Like all of that stuff is back now. It's not there in January.
Is that really the case, or just to play the devil's advocate here, is that just because they've been adding more live entertainment to try to as like a draw away from like Epic Universe? So are they bringing that stuff over to try to like?
I feel like it's not always there around like. I feel like it's not there around the whole year though. I don't know. Something felt different.
See,
times.
I actually didn't feel that way because Epcot was dead, because there was no festival going on when we were there.
Well, we went at a weird time. We went at like the 1 month where there's no festival, but again, they have the live entertainment. When we went in May, there was a festival going on. So
there was,
like, to my point, maybe the week we went, there wasn't a festival, but I feel like the summer time of year is a better time to go from a entertainment perspective.
Yeah, I truly don't know that I agree with you on that, and I think that the misery factor, particularly of going probably from about that May time frame to like August, September, made it really difficult. We were very sweaty, very hot.
Well, that's the counterpoint to it. So to me, it's like, okay, I really enjoyed going this time of year. I kind of forgot how much fun it is to go during this time of year. But you're right. It is very hot, and it's not enjoyable from that perspective. So I think the other thing, another kind of point of changing how I'm viewing a Disney trip and how I'm planning is that, again, the hotel matters more, because I do think when you're going in May, because there's a good festival going on and there's more entertainment and everything's just kind of more lively and upbeat, you're not going to want to be at the parks all day. So I think kind of the idea of rope drop to fireworks isn't maybe the best approach.
Yeah.
If you're going this time of year, you're going to want to take advantage of early park admission, probably leave in the middle of the day. So you're going to want a hotel that you like staying at. And then potentially staying at a deluxe to get extra evening hours. Because that way then you can kind of avoid the hottest parts of the day.
I also would say, I think that, and we'll talk about this more, when you stay at a hotel, you can also see what kind of offerings that are potentially at the hotel. So at Fort Wilderness, we did basically 3 additional things that were outside of the park, specifically at Fort Wilderness, that were a Disney experience still, but they were not a Disney park experience.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. I almost think, and again, we are lucky enough to go to Disney at least once a year. So when we go, we don't have to feel like we have to be at the parks all day because we're trying to ride everything. And I know, there's a lot of people that they only go once a lifetime, once every 5 or 10 years. So
they want to get all of the highlights.
You are trying to get on there.
Yes.
But I do think there is something to be said about seeing some of the experiences and doing some things outside the park.
Yeah.
And I think even if it means you don't
sacrificing something.
Yeah, you don't quote unquote ride everything you wanted to do. You don't do every single thing in all of the parks. You can have a lot of fun doing some of this other stuff because it's still Disney, and I think it's maybe more fun because again you're not it can be tough being in the parks 12 hours a day.
Being like absolutely just blasted by the sun, or maybe not. Maybe you're at
but
the
just
parks
dealing with crowds and waiting in lines and all that sort of stuff.
And like the waiting in lines part is difficult. And so if you're not wanting to do that, you might spend a lot of money on like multi-pass or like things like that. Whereas maybe you're like, okay, well, I'm going to spend all that money on multi-pass. Maybe I should just go and do a different experience and kind of get away from the crowds for a while. Maybe I can return to the park later in the day when the crowds are lighter and just wait in the lines. So I think there is like this interesting alternate approach that you can have.
Right. And we've talked a lot about like tours that are available, and most of those are like in park tours. But there's a lot of stuff to do outside the theme parks. And I do really feel like there's this whole other world out there, and I don't know if just Disney has more stuff now to do outside the parks or like we're just more aware of it, but I feel like people aren't aware of a lot of this stuff, and it can be a ton of fun, and it could be a great way of potentially saving you money, because if you don't buy a theme park ticket one day, like, let's say you're going down for 5 or 6 days, build a day in where you're not going to the parks. It's kind of a relaxing day, and go do one of these tours.
I mean, I don't know if that would be necessarily, I mean, if you do one of the tours, money saving, but you could probably build in several tours in a day if you wanted. And that would probably not be cheaper than a park ticket.
We'll talk about foot golf.
Yeah.
So we did foot golf at the Oak Trail golf course. So if you're somebody who is familiar with foot golf, they have that at Disney. If you're not familiar with foot golf and you want to just go have some fun, like me, you've never played soccer, really kicked a soccer ball in your life, but hey, it sounded fun. Let's go do it. Now you played soccer, so you were at least familiar with it. That was $25 a person.
Yeah.
For 9 holes. That was about an hour and a half experience to play 9 holes of foot golf over at the golf course. You're seeing a different side of Disney. There's turkeys. There's animals over there. You got to watch out for alligators a little bit. Like, don't get too close to the water. But there was a really cool experience. There were, in front of us, there was like a couple kids.
Yeah, it was like
with
a
their moms.
family.
Yeah.
They were wearing like Messi jerseys, so they were probably little
obviously
soccer players.
Soccer.
Yeah.
But to my point, that was $25.
Yeah.
So for a family of 4, that's $100. That is way less than a park ticket. And it's a really cool experience of like being at Disney and doing something different. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I don't know of any place to play foot golf.
Yeah.
And we got all dressed up in the foot golf attire and everything. They thought we were like pros walking up to the tee. And I'm like, I've never done this in my life.
Yeah. So we just you'll have to throw up a picture or something on the YouTube video of what we wore. But yeah, we were you kind of looked like a plaid. Like you said that you weren't purposefully.
No, I was going for like Scottish golfer. I was going for like the birthplace of golf as a foot golfer.
I feel like you should have worn a kilt. That
Well,
would've been
my
cool.
hat was
Yeah, it was like a tartan. Yeah.
yeah.
That so you that was kind of like what you were, and I found a cool pair of socks that so happened to be like one of Barbie's outfits from Toy Story. Kind of has like this like, you know, pink and like this pastel blue. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just say this is a light Barbie bound. But yeah, so I wore Argyle socks, like high Argyle socks,
And that's foot golf. So foot golf is defined by knee-high socks, Argyle ideally, kind of bright colors, patterns. Like there's a whole web. Like when you go on Disney's website for foot golf, like it'll tell you all this stuff. So we weren't just like dressing crazy. That's what the guy was like, oh, you guys know what you're doing. You're foot golfers. But
yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. The one thing I will say,
I had a lot more fun than you.
You did.
Because again, I had no expectations because I've never played soccer. You were very upset with how bad you were doing. You felt pressured. You felt rushed. I was like, by the third hole, I was like, calm down. We're out here having fun.
I will
say,
foot golf. that was, I don't like, and again, we were sandwiched between two groups. So I felt like there was this weird pressure to both keep up with the group and not even keep up with the group in front of us. It was more like this, I don't know. This is my own problem. I have an issue with like trying to be like sometimes overly considerate of other people. And I was worried about the people behind us. I didn't want to hold them up.
And we did not. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. They were enjoying it. But like in my head, I was in my head about it. Like
you were rushing a little bit.
Yeah.
Too, I feel like.
And the other problem was like I was wearing running shoes. And it might just be because I haven't touched a soccer ball in years.
Here we go.
But I was wearing running shoes, so except for one time, I was unable to really like lift the ball up, which was crazy. I played soccer and I played defense. Like I can lift the ball.
This is 100% what it was.
But I was struggling to like, because I wanted to like basically tee off and like hit the ball high and long, and I was actually like I was still kicking it far. I didn't mess it up like in that way or shank it.
This is what it was. This is what it was.
But yeah, I was just not doing what I thought I should be doing.
Real thing was you just got too competitive. You get so competitive in these events.
Yeah.
It was like, I feel like the first couple holes, you were like, I'm going to dominate this. Earlier in the day, you told me you're like, and I know it was a joke.
I think I told the people in the front too.
Look, I'm going to shoot a 9 today. Hole in one every hole.
Yep,
no problem. Every hole. I was like 9. And then the first one, you kick it. And it went like halfway there. I was like, 9? Really? Where's that hole in one? Like, I was giving you a hard time. And I wasn't doing, like, again, I've never kicked a soccer ball. I mean, I've kicked one, but, like, I've not well. I wasn't doing that poorly.
You weren't doing that much worse than I was
doing.
And
you were like, I feel like you were like, I was going to dominate this foot golf. Like, what is happening?
Well, yeah. And it's because I was
But so it's always an excuse. It was so funny because you're like, it's got to be the shoes. Like, you're like figuring, like, is it the shoes? Oh, you know what? There's this bump on my shoe. That's why I'm hitting everything this way. Like, you were just all these excuses, just like what you did. You're like, I can do okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do think
it was just funny.
Running shoes have more of like a big soul.
Here we go. They have
a bigger soul and the bottom, and they kind of pumped out a little bit. And so I will say this. It was that, but it was also just like, it was a frustration that the younger Angela would have probably done better.
Would have been even more competitive.
Oh my gosh.
I had to tell you, calm down. Funny. I was like, we're at Disney having fun. Please.
It's so funny
relax.
because like legitimately, I fool myself every now and again into believing I'm not competitive anymore. And then I get myself into a competitive arena, and then I'm like so competitive, and I'm like, I forget this feeling. Like, because it doesn't happen often, but like it happened to me whenever I ran that one race, and I was like, I don't really care about this race. And then I was like, leading and all that stuff. Like,
yeah. It gets you.
Yeah, it does. It's like the spirit takes over me.
I will say, in your defense, you did have multiple shots, just missed the hole. You had some roll around the edge at one point too. So like you had some unlucky shots.
That's where I struggled when I felt like I did pretty well getting it to the hole. It was a matter of like the putting part, basically.
Yeah.
That was probably the most frustrating for me, besides not being able to lift the ball, just because. Yeah, I was just missing it a lot, and I was just missing. It was like right every time. So I should have been able to fix it.
It's because that shoe. It's because
It was the shoe.
It
was all the shoe. It had nothing to do with me.
But yeah, so foot golf was a lot of fun. Another cool tour we did. This was at Fort Wilderness. It was the Wilderness Back Trail Tour, which is basically Segway. ride through Fort Wilderness. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun and very unexpected.
It's like a 2-hour tour. You're only going through Fort Wilderness for probably 45 minutes to an hour of that. And if you're staying at Fort Wilderness, it's not like it takes you places that, like, we saw a lot of the stuff just from driving around Fort Wilderness. But you do like a 45-minute like lesson on how to ride a Segway, and that was like, if that was all we did, that would have been fun, because you're just driving a Segway around a parking lot, like weaving in and out of cones. Okay, go forward, go backwards. And it was just fun because, like, never been on a Segway before. Like, it's a completely new mode of transportation. And so even though that was them just like testing us, like, can you handle a Segway? It wasn't like, oh, this is like a waste of half my tour. It was a ton of fun just doing that part.
Yeah, I was shocked because, well, I will say, like, they definitely walk you through it, like, very slowly. Like, there was a lot of, like, demonstration prior to us getting on it that I was like, all right. I was like, it was so funny, though. Because
we did a lot of, like, driving around, though, too.
Yeah, eventually. But, like, it was funny because in my head, as they were going over some of the things and she was demonstrating how to use the Segway, I'm like, you are making this look so hard. Like, this is not this hard.
Oh, they had that, like, cheesy safety video that they made you watch, too.
Yeah, but I will say, like, stepping on it for the first time, I was very shocked by how much, like, core engagement is involved on that, because you are trying to, I think, essentially you have to kind of almost stand up very straight, like, because if you're leaning one way or the other, you tilted your arm, like, you're gonna move the Segway,
right?
So that part of it was really unexpected for me, and I thought it was really fun. Also, like, just little things, like, I think that I felt very good at doing it. And I even joked and I was like, have you ever had, like, a prodigy at this? And then the guy was like, we had a mall cop last week. So that was pretty funny. But I was, like, thinking I was so good, but then I ended up like crashing into the one little post. I mean, not really crashing. It was like, I bumped it and it was fine.
Yeah, they are like off-road Segways.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
like,
was cool.
They're like pretty crazy tires in terms of, like,
that was
off-roading
cool.
Segways.
But I think that you like struggled a little bit because I think your height or your feet. I don't know what it was.
Something about my balance. Like, I felt like I wasn't going full speed like I should be.
I felt really awesome. Again, going back to that competitiveness, because honestly, it's funny. Like, out of the two of us, you, I think, have better balance than I do because you have that karate background. For people who don't know, Joe has a black belt.
Yeah.
But he is a lot more balanced than I was, but I felt like I was more sure of myself on the Segway. But I do think it maybe had to do with the fact that maybe your feet didn't quite fit.
Yeah,
so
it was
threw off
I
your
wasn't,
center
like,
of balance or something.
Yeah, there was something there. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Part of that tour is going up to see the Tri-Circle D Ranch, which you absolutely love. You got about like 5 minutes there as part of the Segway tour. We were talking to one of the workers there for a few minutes, and you were like, I got to go back and see these horses. So we actually went back up after the tour and probably spent like 15 or 20 minutes there, learning all about horses.
Yeah, was his name Ron? I think it was like...
It was Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, because we said it was like Ray, like Raymond.
Yeah, my name was Raymond.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like, and we got to pet one of the Percherons.
The one, I think it was the horse that's the Headless Horseman, at least in the TikTok video.
Yeah, in the video, it's the Headless Horseman.
It was confusing.
It was not that horse. He said it wasn't the horse.
But I saw some other footage that it looked like that same horse.
No, but I think the one that they actually use has a very small white.
Okay.
Like,
it's at least
marking.
the one the advertisement Disney did on social media was this horse.
Yeah, it was this horse.
Yeah.
I forget what the horse's name was Dragon. That's it. So I got to touch Dragon. So I pet a dragon the other day, and it was really cool. Like, I got to ask him all of my dumb horse questions because I've ridden horses before. Like, for a short stint, I was taking riding lessons, but I know very little about horses. But it was cool to see, like, him talk about the horses, like, their personalities.
What did they say? They have like 100 horses there?
Yeah, something like that.
It was some crazy.
And you could get a Disney horse too, which was my goal in life.
If you have like a working ranch, and because they're all working horses, so if you have like the place for them and you have a job for them, they said, because they told us this on the Segway tour, after 10 years, they kind of retire them from Disney. they vet you out, but if you're approved, it's $500.
They sell them for $500
for a horse.
Like, and they're not just like a horse; they're like gorgeous horses.
So we are pleased to announce we are launching the Enchanted Ears Ranch.
I mean,
with the
I wouldn't
goal
even
of
be
eventually getting a
joking
Disney
about
horse.
that.
I'm being serious. I think we need to start this.
I would love to, like, that giant, like those big percherons, like the big ones. I don't know what it was about them.
What do you say? 18 hands? I know horse lingo
Didn't
now.
they say they were like 22 hands?
No,
I forget.
I think it was 18 hands.
I don't know. I don't really understand the whole.
I'm a big time cowboy now.
Well, we did wear cowboy hats, which we could talk about here in a little bit as well. But yeah, I don't know.
But it's a lot of fun.
It
And
was
you
a big horse.
you can go. So like, you don't have to be staying at Fort Wilderness Lodge to go visit there. You don't have to go on the Segway tour to go visit there. You'd have to go to Wilderness Lodge to see that.
But
if you're going, what I would recommend is if you're going to do Hoop-de-Doo Revue, because it's very close to Pioneer Hall. It closes, I think the ranch closes at 5. So you'd have to do like the 4 o'clock Hoop-de-Doo. Go early, and you can go over there and see the horses. Because it is pretty cool. They have pony rides there for like little kids before, and you can kind of do that too. So
yeah, it's like
a cool experience.
It's a nice barn. They have some things in there, like you can see the wedding
harnesses and everything.
Harnesses. Yeah. You can see there's like I can't remember what that one thing was. That it was like a big like carriage or something.
It's like
that had music.
It's like it's a musical device. That
with
like
whistles and things.
Yeah.
And then you could probably there are stables for probably like 6 horses right there. I think it was like around
6 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, so about 6 horses there. And then you can't go into the back, you can't go into the fields or anything, but you can go into that one really nice looking barn that if you've ever been on Instagram and they've posted the am I saying this right? Tri-Circle D Ranch?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And you see that, like you can go into that. So that it was a really cool thing if you're into animals or you have any interest in horses whatsoever.
I was going to say, I mean,
you're afraid of
I'm not
horses.
really into horses, and I thought it was super interesting because they have facts about the horses and stuff. Like one thing I learned, basically every horse we have here in America was imported. Like they're all from Europe, from like France or Belgium or Scotland. I was like, America, I feel like the West is known for like horses and cowboys and like all those horses were like brought here from by the Europeans and stuff. So
yeah, well,
it was interesting talking to them, and the people that worked there, like the guy that was there, I think he was from Colorado. He was older. Like this is definitely, you could tell, like probably his like retirement job that he probably worked on a farm or a ranch his whole life, and it's kind of like this is his retirement thing to do. Like they really like the animals.
Yeah.
And so
he was showing us the trick the horse does. The one horse did that was so cute. It was like he would boop the horse and he was like, you know what a boop is? And I was like, what? And then he like went like he was gonna touch my nose. Like you do to like a cat. So he did it to the horse, and then the horse just like pushed him with his and he's like, I didn't teach him to do that. He just does that himself.
Right. And he turned it into a trick.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see the interactions.
And they're super knowledgeable
and the
stuff,
personalities. Because like when I rode horses before, I never really got to know their personalities. So it was cool to see that they're just like a dog or like anything. Any living thing has a personality.
He said that. He said the horses are like dogs and like golden retrievers. And ponies are like Jack Russell Terriers. Like they're crazy, but he said like these big horses, they're like just very gentle. They just want to be with you. Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're going to Hoop-de-Doo, maybe spend some time beforehand. We had never seen Hoop-de-Doo. This was another thing we tried to do. We're like, we're staying at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hoop-de-Doo.
Joe, that was a weird phrasing that you had just there.
Yeah. So we went. We were doing the second show one night. As you mentioned, we got all dressed up.
So
cowboy hats, boots, everything.
Yeah. I had a again, we really went out on the outfits this time, and I had it was a cowboy Jafar bound. So
it was really good.
Yeah. So it was red. I had a like a cobra bolo tie. I had a red, like a belt with a red stone in it, kind of like he has a red stone. I had a black cowboy hat, red shirt. I had black Daisy Duke shorts and high, like gray black boots. So I was feeling myself. You had a great.
I had a shirt with fringe on it.
On the front and back.
On the front and back. I was going for more like a Hoop-de-Doo vibe. Had a cowboy hat, belt, everything. I'm like, this is going to be great. We walk in. We are literally at the table right by the piano.
We walk in and we're literally one of like 2 people there that was dressed
Yeah,
up
dressed
in
up.
any way.
That's fine. But we were right by the piano, right at the front of the stage. Like, this is going to be great. We got a great view for this.
We kind of wondered if we got seated there because I mean you buy those tickets, but
it's all pre-done.
We just so happened to be dressed up.
We lucked into it, and we're like, oh, we know there's like some interactions with the guests. Like, we're sure we're gonna get some interactions. This is great. And then we're sitting there, and like they have like the cornbread and the salad and stuff to start,
and it's just sitting there.
And I had
there.
read like it starts about like 20 minutes after you sit down.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything. I didn't really look into it. Again, I like to go into a lot of these things blind.
I didn't know too much either. And like half an hour, like 45 minutes in,
we're sitting there and we're like, this is not Disney.
No more foods come out. Nothing is starting. We're like, this is a weird lull.
Right. And Disney doesn't do that.
Us. Yeah.
Because we know that there are multiple shows a night. And so we're like, this isn't right.
Yeah,
like something is going wrong.
We're like,
now.
something's weird. I knew it was about 2 hours. So I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be starting soon. But then eventually one of the managers comes out and said, like, we're very sorry. We're going to start getting your food out here soon. We're having technical difficulties. We don't know if there's going to be a show. We're hoping we have some.
We think we will have something, but it will not be the full show.
Will not be the full show. And then, so food started coming out, but probably it was another 15 or 20 minutes after that.
Banjo player.
Finally, banjo player, piano player comes out. The cast comes out. They are in the crowd, not on stage. They each like went up to the piano and sang one song. And then they did this like, hey, we're going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. And that was it. They probably did 20 to 30 minutes. And then it was over. And then we're like, what happened? Like, that definitely was not Hoop-Dee-Dee Revue. There was no like...
There were no instruments.
No instruments, no nothing. Claire DeLune did come and play with my fringe a little bit. I was like, oh, I like this. So I got a little interaction.
I mean, she walked by you and did it.
Right.
Like it was.
They were in the crowd.
Very understated.
I will say, like, they could have just been on the stage. They at least did still kind of go out in the crowd to kind of talk to people.
Yeah, they were interacting with some people. We didn't get that, but they were.
Yeah. They did the best they could. But then after it was over, another manager came out and said, like, we apologize so much.
She was like almost in tears.
Yeah,
like, you could tell she was shook.
She didn't want to be like the person talking to people. Like, she didn't want to be out.
I felt bad.
Everybody talking to it. But like, they're like, we're so sorry that we had technical difficulties. We're so sorry about this. Like,
this is not the Disney magic that you guys.
And they're like, we're going
to
process a refund for everybody. So it was nice they did that, but it was kind of disappointing that we didn't get the full show. I will say I did read the 8:00 show because when we left, there were cast members there like, do you have any other questions or anything? One took a picture of us because like, oh, you're all dressed up. Let me take a picture. And we asked, we're like, is everything okay? Because like they did seem like kind of like nervous about this.
Yeah,
like worried, like,
and we started to
difficulty.
worry. Like, is one of the cast members like, did something happen?
Yeah.
Is somebody hurt? Like,
right.
We were. I mean, they said technical difficulties, but
that could
be
anything.
And also, you're in Disney. They're not going to be like, hey, this main character had like a family emergency. Like,
right.
I mean, I don't know. We were.
But it sounded like it was. They're like, no, everybody's okay. It sounded like it was true, like technical difficulties. Like they were worried about either like something overheating or there was some problem with like the equipment. They were worried about They were worried about the actors. I think that's why they weren't on stage doing the full show.
Yeah, like
you asked our server, he's like, this happens all the time.
Yeah, the server was sort of like, I don't know why they don't fix it. Like, it was kind of funny. He was just like very straightforward. With what sort of like seemed like it was going on. But yeah, he like it just sounded like they have an issue. They have some sort of like maybe wiring issue or something. Something is going on.
I read later because so what happened is we walked down. We're like, is there going to be the next show?
Yeah, it was the 8:00 show.
And that's what. And then the cast member there who's talking to us, she was like, "That's what we're trying to figure out. We don't know." I did read the next day, because people like they try to sensationalize the headlines of like Disney cancels Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and I'm like, is this about the show not happening? And so I clicked on it. They canceled the 8:00 show. So all those people were in line. They try to go up, I guess, to the last minute. They realize, hey, we're gonna have to do what we did at 6:00. So we're just canceling that show. So we got in a bridge show. The 8:00 show was canceled completely. But I was reading because like people were commenting about it. I guess there was rumors if it was maybe like an air conditioning unit or something because they said there was like a smell of like something burning. I think our server told us that too. So I think it was like either something was overheating or the air conditioning wasn't working. They're worried about something overheating. So that's why they ultimately canceled it. So we've still not seen the full Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue show. the few songs we heard were
No,
good.
it was great.
It was funny. So we're going to try to go back.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. We were so excited. We're like, oh, we're going to go and do this. And we still don't get to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was, I mean,
So
the
we'll have
good
to,
thing is
I still have my outfit, so I can wear it again.
We should have gotten our money back. We haven't checked, but yeah, we should have gotten the money back, and we got free food. The food was fine.
You don't go to Hoop-de-Doo Revue for the food.
Yeah.
You go for the show. So that's why
it was okay.
It was a little disappointing, but yeah, I mean, if it's kind of like, hey, you got our money back, you got some free food, not a big deal. But all of that, so if you look at that, so we did foot golf, we did a Segway tour. We did Hoop-de-Doo Revue, but okay, we didn't like
In
fully
air
do
quotes,
Hoop-de-Doo Revue, but we went to that.
We did the Halloween party.
The Halloween party, but I'm not even talking like a party, but just stuff you can do normally.
Oh, yeah.
At the parks. Like, that's kind of my point of like that, and all those were just at the Magic Kingdom area that you can do. So like, there's so much to do. Just going to the Tri-Circle D Ranch. You know, that was in like kind of one small area. If you add in all of the other resorts and things to do, you add in Disney Springs, you have the Amphicar, like you have, you can go see a Cirque du Soleil show there. Like, there's so much to do, and I feel like you can still have a great Disney experience, and you can almost have sometimes an even more elevated Disney experience, because waiting in line sometimes can be frustrating. And if you just go to the parks and you wait in line all the time, yeah, you had fun riding the rides, but you might come back and be like, I need a vacation from this vacation. Like, people say that about Disney a lot. I feel like if you build in kind of time to go back to your resort, you build in some of these tours, some of these added experiences, it's going to feel more like a vacation. It's going to be a little bit more relaxing because it's more variety to it. And I feel like I came back from this one and was like, I felt so just relaxed and refreshed. I think part of it was staying in the cabins and just the atmosphere of it, but like, I felt great. Like, I felt like I had a kind of very well-rounded vacation overall from it. And I think, like, I would kind of recommend people, like, look outside the parks. Like, when you're going to Disney, don't just focus on the parks.
Yeah, if that's something that interests you, there are a lot of different experiences and things. We didn't even mention we ate breakfast at Topolino's, so that's another hotel experience. But that's a character breakfast.
The whole boardwalk area.
Yeah,
we've never really fully experienced.
And we always wanted to do jelly rolls, and then they closed it.
Yeah,
I'm still salty about that.
They still have the dance hall there, though. You can get the bikes you can ride around. Like, there's just a lot of stuff to do, really, to experience outside.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So there's definitely a lot of, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that you can dig into. Whereas, like, I feel like a lot of vacation spots, you know, you go, and I find that for me, like 4 days generally in one spot is probably usually enough. Now, that could be because I don't know the area very well. But after about 4 days, I feel like I've done a lot of the things that I want to do. And Disney just has so many other added experiences that you can like cobble together to make a day or several days. It is really interesting because there's just like this sort of like richness of things that like we still have a list of things that we haven't had a chance to do. We knocked out several things sort of that we wanted to do this list or this trip, but there's still many things that we haven't done, and we've been to Disney a lot.
Oh yeah, and they're always adding, you know, new stuff. I think the other thing with this is like I can see the benefit of the lightning lanes and the multi-pass. Again, if you're going in the summer when it's hot, I think the plan should be maximize your time that you have to be in the park. So like minimize the amount of time you're waiting in line so that way you can go early, you can go late, you can skip the middle of the day when it's hot, spend time at the resort, spend time doing some of these other activities. So in order to do that, again, you have to minimize your wait time. So early entry is going to help you, but getting lightning lanes, you know, getting the multi-pass, maybe getting individual lightning lanes so that way you can get, here are the 4 or 5 attractions I have to do, but I can get them done in 2 hours instead of 4 hours, which then, you know, then gives me, hey, 2 hours instead of me, again, being in the parks, waiting in the sun. I can go back to my hotel and maybe I have a Savannah room, or maybe I'm staying at the Savannah room, or maybe I'm staying at the campgrounds and I'm spending time at Fort Wilderness.
You could drive your golf cart around.
Could drive your golf. Yeah, that's a fun experience in
Yeah.
itself. They have horseback rides, or you can do like a horse-drawn carriage over there. So like you can spend time, or just spend time at the pool and just kind of relax. So like I think that's where, to me, like the value is in like some of the stuff like the lightning lanes and things. Like I think if you're just gonna go to the parks all day, I really don't think you need lightning lanes outside of maybe Magic Kingdom.
Or you go to the Poly and you go to Trader Sam's.
Yeah, so we did get into Trader Sam's.
Yes.
And again, you need to be there early to kind of get into Trader Sam's in time. So like, you know, we went around like 7.
Yeah.
I think so. I think 3:00 is when they open up reservations. We were there at 7, and people were saying, "Oh, they're going to reopen reservations at 7:30." And so we were, I don't know, like the 3rd group in line or something. And people were saying like, "Oh, I just saw somebody that they were here at 3, and they just got out. It was like 4 hours later." And we're like, "Oh, you were like, oh, we should have never came. Like,
yeah,
this wasn't
I
going to
mean,
happen."
I will say like, and we joke about this, but like I was cranky because it was just so hot. Like
Yeah.
it was so hot. And then we were like tired, and we were like, should we even make the effort to go and try to go to Trader Sam's? I mean, like, is it really going to be worthwhile? And then people were saying that, they finally got their name in, and it took like 3 hours for them to get called back. And I'm like, it's 7 now. I do not want to be out until like 10. Like, I just,
yeah, you don't want to be
being
waiting. You don't want to be waiting too long. I did kind of think, I was like, well, if they cut off reservations at like 3, there's no way, and they're going to reopen them at 7:30. I don't think it's going to be that long of a wait, because why would they, if they have people booked till 10, they're not going to take reservations. And it did work out. Like we got in at 7:30, they opened up again. We were like the 3rd party, and they're like, it's going to be 45 minutes to an hour. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. Or maybe they even said 30 minutes.
I think it was
to
30
an
to
hour.
40 minutes,
Yeah,
or 30 to 45.
30 to 60. I think it was 30 to 60, but she's like, I don't think it's going to end up being an hour, because that's what it was. She was like, it's going to at least be 30. It could be an hour max. Like, perfect. So we just kind of hung out at the Poly for a little bit. I think it ended up being like 40 minutes, and we got in. First time in there, it was awesome. All the cast members with the different drinks and everything that happens. I 100% see why, though, it takes forever to get in there, because they have about room for 30 people maybe, and they do not, it's not like Oga's where it's like, hey, you have 45 minutes,
you get out. Yeah,
we were in there an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
And in the amount of time we were in there, I want to say maybe 20 people came in after us. And so in an hour and a half, 20 people got through there. I can see why, like, if you're not one of the first groups of people there at reservations,
why it takes so long.
You're not getting in, because it just takes forever. Because they even came back. I thought, hey, we got a drink. We ordered some food. I thought they'd come back, say, okay, we're done. They're like, you want anything else? We got another round of drinks.
Yeah, we got another round.
So like, it takes a long time, which is nice that they give you that.
And I will say, like, I really enjoyed the drinks. I'm pretty, like, again, we've talked about this kind of before, but I'm usually training for something. So I usually don't really drink very much, but they were very fruity. They were along my lines. I don't like anything strong. But they were good. And we got the one little tiki like mug guy who's very cute, and they changed them out apparently. We got sat with another couple, which was cool.
Yeah, you're not at a like table by yourself, because again it's a lounge kind of area, so you're going to be seated with other people. But the couple we were with, they had been to Trader Sam's multiple times, so they kind of were like filled us in on it.
I was worried about the AOA drink is like one of their bigger ones. It's also the one that makes the AOA
the tiki
god who used to be in the Enchanted Tiki room whenever it was under new management. So that's actually, that animatronic is actually in Trader Sam's now, in case you didn't know.
It doesn't move though, it just lights up.
Right, it's broken, it doesn't move anymore, but it does light up. And the whole, like, it sets off like this whole chain of like reactions. But I wanted to order it because I wanted to make it go off, but we didn't really have to technically, because everyone orders it, which is an interesting like tip to know about if you've never been to Trader Sam's.
All the drinks get ordered.
Every drink gets ordered. I think that there's some though, like I feel like the zombie one, like that one's a little bit less like loud and boisterous. So like there's probably certain, like that, the pearl one that you get, you are going to see that no matter what. The AOA, you're going to see that no matter what.
The Nautilus, every drink got ordered multiple times while we were there. The zombie, the Nautilus, the AOA, the tiki rum, which is 2 shots of rum. They all happened multiple times while we were there. So.
Right. But I think that there's some of them that are a little more like subtle. Like I think that the Nautilus, like when you know that you order the Nautilus, then you can kind of watch for it, and you might catch it if your table didn't order it. But
the Nautilus ones, when they come out with the
the squirt gun,
and they have an inflatable duck inner tube around them.
Yes,
that one's very noticeable.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. I feel like the zombie was like the more low key of the different ones. But anyway, it was a really, so basically get what you want to drink. Somebody's going to order something and you'll still get to see it. But I really thought it was a lot of fun. Would I have to go there every time? No.
But it was a good tip to know, if you're not there, because again, it might be difficult to be there at 3:00 because if you're in the parks, find out when they're opening the list again. So it was 7:30. We got there at 7, which was only a half an hour before. It wasn't too bad. And this was on a Saturday, so I would have to assume it's a little bit busier. And again, we were the third group there, and we got in by 8:15. So not too bad. So to kind of know, because it is difficult to get into, like you need to be at the front of the line. But if you miss that first wave, find out when they're doing the second wave. Try to be there maybe a half an hour early or so, and you're going to get in, pretty quickly. Just to kind of like wrap up some other of the new things we saw, we got to see the Disney Starlight Parade, the new nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom. It was okay. That's definitely something I feel like
Disneyland's got that in spades.
Yeah, I feel like I don't need to see that. If I'm there and it's happening,
absolutely
great. But I'm not gonna go and seek that out
anymore. It was abbreviated. And like the floats, although they were nice, they didn't seem like the ostentatious, oh my God, kind of nice.
It was more about the characters. Like the floats just happened to light up because it was at night, but it was more about the characters versus like Paint the Night, the Electrical Light Parade. It's about the floats, to your point, being these big grand floats, not the characters as much.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool, but I mean, it wasn't the best Disney parade I've ever seen. It wasn't like Tokyo Disney's Electrical Light Parade or even, like you said, Paint the Night.
Yeah, I have to imagine like it's not getting well received, because whenever it first started, there was the whole big thing of you had to have a park reservation for Magic Kingdom if you're an annual pass holder to be able to go to Magic Kingdom that day. Like you had to kind of like plan to actually go there. And that only lasted about a week. And then it was kind of like, okay, it doesn't really matter. Anybody, you can just come here whenever. And I feel like they were thinking it was going to be more like there's going to be a lot of people going and it was going to be more popular. And I do kind of feel like you didn't really hear too much about it once it opened up.
They made like merch and everything.
Yeah. And like, you don't really see many people talking about it. And I kind of see why. Like it's maybe 6 floats. Like it seems it's a pretty short parade. And again, like it was cool to see once if I'm there and I happen to see it when it goes by. But I think that seems to maybe be the consensus of like, it's okay. Yeah. And it didn't get a huge word of mouth. So it's kind of like, it's not drawn what people thought it was going to pull.
But compared to like the Boo to You parade that we saw, I mean, there's no competition. That Boo to You parade is much better than the Starlight.
Yeah. Now we got to see the new villain show on Fairly Ever After. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
At Hollywood Studios.
The first song was really good. And I felt like the thing that I didn't like
the mirror songs were good.
Oh yeah, the mirror songs were great. I loved the fact that the mirror was annoyed by all the villains. I thought that was a cool concept. And again, I didn't really give anything away if you haven't seen it, but I just thought it was cool. I will say that I felt like the characters that they chose to showcase weren't the characters I would have chosen. Mm-hmm. I think that we talked about it there, and you said I think that you said that you had heard it was supposed to be longer than that.
Well, the rumor initially was like when they released it, the runtime was like 45 minutes, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be like a proper full show," and then it ends up being like a 15 or 20 minute show. So there are 3 villains in it. There are 2 other villains that aren't live, but that are in costume that I kind of wonder, were they a part of the original show?
Those would have been 2 of the villains that I would have put in the original show, because I think that they are more, again, I feel like they are more popular, like in it, character design wise, they're better than like the ones that are in it.
So I think if you would have added those, now you're at a half an hour, 35-minute show. I do think I can see why they probably cut it, because basically the villains come out and sing a song. If you had 5 or 6 villains, I think it would get a little tedious. at the end with some of this stuff. I also think some of this is probably them workshopping of like, how are people reacting to these villains? Like, this is a show that I could see in a year having different villains.
Yeah,
they could very easily, because it's all screens. The whole set is screens. So,
but it's such a cool set. Like when we say that, a lot of times when we say it's all screens, it's like it's a knock. This isn't a knock. It's the way that they use the screens is so interesting and really like unique. I haven't seen anyone. It reminds me of like if you've ever seen Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway. Like they use screens in a really cool way, and I feel like they use screens in a very cool, different way. Not like Evan Hansen, but just like they use it uniquely, and it looks really cool.
Yeah. And my point to that being, it's not like if they had a new villain, they need to make a whole new set. They just have to make digitally a new set. So I think it would be very easy to switch out the villains. Mm-hmm. So I could see them doing that in a year, a new villain comes in and out. I honestly think this show's got maybe 3 years tops. Once Villains Land opens, I think this show's done. Yeah. And then there's going to be some sort of show.
I feel like they are workshopping something for a bigger show. And again, I don't know. Are they talking about putting some sort of a castle or something?
I think there's going to be a castle.
Land? Yeah. So I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know how big they're going to build that castle. I obviously don't think that they are going to build it as big as the castle.
Right.
But maybe they build a smaller version of the castle. And then they put a stage up front or something, and they can do it in front of there.
Yeah, but I think it's what I liked about it is I think it's solid, and I think they are celebrating the villains, and the whole show is that the villains don't necessarily view themselves as villains, that they kind of view themselves as misunderstood, and that they're like poorly treated. And I think that is positive for Villains Land as a whole, and that they're going to be villains, and they're not going to try to make them like not, you know what I mean? They're not going to try to like Disneyfy them and try to make them like, oh, they're not really the villain. It's like
kind of like how they changed Maleficent, right? Like she didn't get invited to the party. They were being mean girls to her or something.
Yeah.
Like not quite like that.
Yeah. But I think having it like the Villains Land, like the villains will be villains, and it's going to be kind of like, they're like, hey, we're not the bad guys here, but like, it's from their perspective. And so I think that's like a good take on it. And so I think it makes me more excited for like the whole land, and to see these villains more in action, and to see kind of what they do with the show and stuff. But I ultimately think that becomes something Muppets. I mean, with Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster right there, I think you have that building. Just make that Muppet Vision again. Like just put Muppet Vision 3D back there and make that whole Muppets courtyard area right there. I think people would absolutely love that. I mean, geez, you could potentially, hey, let's say we're going to drop Twilight Zone as a sponsor. Make it Muppets Haunted Mansion or Muppets Tower of Terror.
I thought you were going to say that they were going to make it Twilight themed. Like
no,
Edward Collins.
No, but I'm saying,
that would be weird IP for them to try to acquire.
I could see if you have Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster, you add Muppet Vision or some other Muppet attraction in that theater, just turn it into Muppets Tower of Terror.
No, thank you.
No?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I will put my foot down on that one.
So you want to keep it Twilight Zone?
Yes. It's creepy. It's supposed to be creepy. You add the Muppets, it's a laughing stock.
But you love Guardians, and that makes it funny. But they took creepy and made it funny.
They did, because the original version still existed. I don't want them to change that one, because that one would then... I feel like, that one would basically, in its form, like cease to exist, because that's the only one that actually moves through space and stuff instead of going just straight up and down and having that elevator thing. I think that's one that's really hard for them to touch, because again, like you have 2 creepy rides.
I'm just saying I could see that, because I have to imagine eventually that licensing
they're not
deal
going to want to do
with Twilight Zone.
But I would make the argument if I were Disney, and I'd say nobody knows the Twilight Zone anymore except for from Disney. So
no, they redid. I mean, Jordan Peele redid the whole Twilight Zone. There's a more recent.
Have we watched
Twilight
it?
Zone. No, I'm not going to watch the Twilight Zone. I don't like creepy stuff like that.
I mean, isn't it like more thrillery? I don't know. We should watch it.
I'm just saying I could see. I'm not saying they do that, but I'm just saying I could see you expand Muppets, because once that villain show goes away, I think that's a perfect place to put Muppet Vision back in there. And I just think you could eventually expand that whole Sunset Boulevard, that whole back corner, into kind of a more Muppets themed area, because people seem to love the Muppets, and kind of bring the Muppets back in a different way. I'm just saying it's a possibility. But I think the villain show was good. I think the villain show was good.
People love things that are going, like, we waited how long for Dinosaur?
30 minutes, 40
45.
minutes.
We were back in the back queue where there's like a velociraptor or something. It was crazy. We've never seen that part of the queue before, but because that ride is going to be closing, people were on it. And I'm like, I was laughing and saying to you, yo, if y'all would have ridden this before, it wouldn't be closing right now. But hey.
No, I think people like the Muppets even before it was closing. I think there's a contingent of fans of Muppet fans in there. Again, I just think that's that theater area. I feel like they struggle to get people to go back there.
Yeah,
it was full for the villain show, and I think it will be for a couple years. But again,
I do think that would be
away.
a cool Muppets show back there. I just don't want them to take Tower.
Again, I would just say I could see that if for some reason they drop the licensing of Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
you could easily kind of fit Muppets in there, because I don't think they would do Guardians in Disney World, since we already have Cosmic Rewind. So
I hope not.
But yeah, so like the villain show, Starlight Parade was okay. Didn't get to see the new Little Mermaid show, unfortunately.
I forgot about
that was one thing we didn't get to go see, so we still will have to check that out. But overall, this trip was definitely more focused on outside the parks, doing other stuff. We talked last week about
like different things.
Yeah, we talked last week about the Halloween party, that sort of stuff. So it was a cool experience, and I feel like people should, like, don't sleep on the other stuff you can do. There's more to do at Disney than just the theme parks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say also, despite the fact that it was really hot, and I have that memory of it being really hot, that's not the thing that like really stands out in my mind, as far like it's the other things that we got a chance to do stand out more than me being super hot while we were doing it.
Exactly. We'd love to hear from our listeners. What is your favorite thing to do outside the Disney parks at Disney? Mm-hmm. Like, what are some of the other like cool things you've done? Because we love doing this stuff too. So let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments. You can let us know on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Ears Podcast over there. But that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for letting us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.